Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're gonna have ourselves a 1v1 on Angoville. Our heroes today are going to be Mr. HOI-PauL.a.D. playing as the Soviets in the blue. And his opponent is going to be once again Mr. Cruzz playing as the OKW forces in the red. So we return to Angoville. This time around, we are following, once again, our good old friend Mr. Cruzz as he faces against PauL.a.D. after being knocked out from the winner's bracket. So I wasn't able to find the other game, but last time we saw Cruzz, he managed to stage a comeback from a 1-0 deficit, getting himself into the next round, in which he ended up facing Korean Army. But in that matchup, he ended up losing 2-0 and was knocked down to the loser's bracket. And of course, he's facing PauL.a.D, who ended up going up against DevM, Mr. Insane DevM, the evil vicious mouse. PauL.a.D also lost 2-0, so both of them got knocked down to the loser's bracket, which means that whoever loses this best-of-3 series is now knocked out, completely out of the tournament. In the loser's bracket, of course, you can fight your way through it and potentially come back to the final, but once you're out, you are out. So best of luck to both players. We shall see how it faces off, and we'll see if we can follow Cruzz for, more games. So anyways, we see PauL.a.D going right away for his Doctrine, and that is the armored assault tactics. We've seen this Doctrine be utilized, continuously, and of course, one of the key things to it is the radio intercept, which, helps out quite a bit in the early game to know what your opponent is doing. PauL.a.D went for 3 conscripts and then followed it up with a combat engineer, with which he is building tier 1. And I can only assume that a scout car, Soviet scout car, will be coming out of that. We do hear an engagement up in the north as we have Volksgrenadiers and conscripts engaging at relatively close range. Cruzz does bring up the storm piles behind it, forcing the retreat of those conscripts. Cruzz has gone for 4 Volks to start off with, nothing else so far, but we'll see if he ends up, getting a Kubel wagon or something of that sort. But for now, not much is really going on as we just hear engagements at a little bit of long range. Over here on the right-hand side, we have conscripts capturing that strategic point on the edge of the map while taking cover on the outhouse as the Volksgrenadiers pop inside the house and are going to shoot them there. Over on the left-hand side, we heard these storm pyos chasing down these conscripts, but the conscripts just, make it back to base and they're fine. Combat engineers moving along the way, but we do see, of course, the Soviet scout car coming into play, as we assumed. Soviet scout car, a strong play against a OKW force, because, of course, they don't have access to Faust, which is the early thread. Yes, Cruzz can upgrade to a Shrek, but you can only do it at one of his squads at this stage of the game, and, he can't do it just yet, but, when he can only do it at 1, and, the scout car can still attack everything else. So flamethrowers equipped on the scout car, moving forward, forcing one Volksgren squad to retreat. Second one currently backpedaling, as the storm pyro is also backpedaling as well. Probably going to be seeing a Racket and Warfare coming up before even a Shrek hits, but for now, the infantry for Cruzz is at a severe disadvantage, forced to just simply move back. Storm Pyro's down to 2 men, forced to retreat. The Volksgrenadiers still holding their ground. Now they retreat, and we do in fact see that the Racket and Warfare getting produced for Cruzz, as that scout car is just going to have free reign for quite a while in the game to just simply harass all that infantry. Combat engineers pushing up to the north, going to decap that strategic point. Conscripts moving up behind them. They're probably going to hold themselves up in the house, making sure that the right-hand side sector is very difficult to take back. Combat engineers going for the fuel as the Volksgrens on the far right-hand side retreat. And the combat engineers popping out of the scout car, going to quickly repair it and make sure it's at full strength. Cruzz trying to move back out. Volksgrenadiers and storm pyos pushing in force. Racket and Warfare now on the field, should be able to help out. Does get cloaked immediately by Cruzz, as he does not want to reveal his Racket and Warfare 2 HOI-PauL.a.D, but unless PauL.a.D was not paying attention, he knows that there is a Rakuten Warfare on the field because he has radio intercept. So I don't think it showed because the game is kind of weird and it doesn't show me the things unless I switch him back and forth. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it would, you know, tell him what he produces. So I'm sure Rakuten Warfare. I mean, I'm sure PauL knows. Of course, you know, doesn't mean that he knows exactly where it is. I can still sneak up on him. So since it is cloak, it does give him that surprise factor. We see, what is that? A mine? Oh, a demo charge in lay down. Oh, very sneaky move there by PauL.a.D, and down goes the Volksgrenadier squad as soon as it pops into the house. Does a little bit of splash damage. I think it may have killed one of the combat engineers there, but I mean, it was so worth it. It doesn't actually matter. Very sneaky. So conscripts moving over to the right-hand side, capturing some territory, retreating. More Volksgrens getting produced. We see Storm Piles laying down some mines in the center. Sniper play going to be coming into effect for PauL.a.D as he has his tier 1, so he decides to go for that sniper. Does have 3 conscripts on the field and 2 combat engineers still, so nothing really lost. Back at base we do have medics for PauL.a.D, so he will be able to heal up before he heads out. And with the sniper play, we'll see how well that pays off. Back at base though, we do have the battle group headquarters for cruzz. Well, we have seen the infantry support guns being used to great effect. We'll see if he starts using those and how well it works. Scout car going to be running into that shoe mine. No, manages to barely dodge that, quite luckily. Rakuten Warfare is set up, waiting for the scout car to push, but the Storm Piles move out of the way. Sniper is set up at range, gets a shot off on them, and conscripts are nearby for support. Scout car going to be moving back, and PauL.a.D not going to go too aggressive, not wanting to risk running into the Rakuten Warfare. Damn it, I'm getting that annoying stutter again. So it's not as frequent. So that's nice. We are getting that. I don't know. I'm going to have to maybe just reinstall everything again. Wipe the computer. Haven't done that for a year about, so probably. Anyways, engagement in the center. Combat engineers with sweepers running into the Volksgrens and Storm Piles. Storm Piles do have access to their sweepers, but, you know, right now they're not. Well, I mean, they're not using it, not that they don't have access to it. Ah, die, fucking mosquito. Yes, I have been fighting a mosquito since the other cast. Anyways, Rakuten Warfare getting caught in the center of the map by PauL.a.D. Gonna be chasing it down there with his scout car. The Fusiliers are in the way, and the Fusiliers are, you know, not really equipped to deal with it, so they're gonna get themselves torn up. Managing to destroy, well, not destroy, but decap that, decrew the Rakuten Warfare. Rakuten Warfare goes down once again. Volksgren squad backpedaling and getting reinforced, managing to stay alive. The supply half-track moving back, but a lot of infantry pushing forward. So good damage there by PauL.a.D. Does not manage to steal the Rakuten Warfare, so, you know, could have been better. But still, inflicts a lot of manpower damage, clearing out those infantry, and forces cruzz to have to recrew, reinforce, and all sorts of things. Sniper hitting a mine, a shoe mine with their shoe, and they are dead. So a nice pickup there for cruzz. Very nice, the mine placement there. Ended up working very well. Rakuten Warfare trying to clear out the scout car. Scout car here hitting overdrive, managing to move out of the way, taking a lot of small arms fire damage. Gets itself cleared out regardless. The Storm Pile is doing quite a bit of work there. The combat engineer squad going to be going down here unless... Oh, very nice move there by PauL.a.D. Gets a merge going on that combat engineer squad, and the combat engineers pop into the house, and the flamethrower burst going to be going off, trying to make sure that Rakuten Warfare is not taken. Manages to do a lot of fire damage to it. Volksgrenadier squad down to 1 man. Maybe able to get out of there, although the Jaeger light infantry, not Fusiliers, sorry. I'm not sure why I called them that before. The Jaeger light infantry are unable to finish off the combat engineer, but a very nice move by PauL.a.D. Very aware of what he can do. Once again, sniper squad on the field, getting a replacement there as the mine took care of his other squad. Unfortunate for Paul, but, you know, it happens. Unfortunate as well, since he has a combat engineer squad with sleepers, so That kind of sucks for him. Conscript squad trying to hold off against the Storm Pios and the Jaeger light infantry. They're not going to be able to do that at all. Snipers moving over to the right-hand side. They're going to capture that victory point as a combat engineer squad with sweepers moves from the right. Shots fly from the sniper, hitting the Volksgrenadiers. Volksgrenadiers now targeting the snipers, taking some damage, but they're still alive. Snipers move back. They're going to get into range, but they're not going to get surrounded by Jaeger light infantry and Storm Pios. Sniper needs to retreat. Conscript's going to get in the way, but the sniper is in position to be shot here. Snipers moving back. They're going to get themselves past the trees here and retreat at that point, I would suppose, although they're still there. Conscript's now currently surrounded. Down to 2 men, forced to retreat. Combat engineers with flamethrowers moving up. Jaeger light infantry taking some shots, but the sniper misses as the infantry hits retreat. And the conscripts moving out of the base, and we now see tier 3 going down for Mr. Paul.A.D. So cruzz basically being forced to retreat all the way back to base with everything. Moving back out with some Volksgrens, although they're not fully healed. As the combat engineers move forward and reinforce. Conscripts capturing that point in the center. As we see the Volksgrenadiers dashing towards the barn. Popping in, going to be engaging all these conscripts. There are 3 conscript squads sitting right there, so that's a lot to deal with. cruzz, of course, selected his doctrine. That is the Scavenge doctrine, as we have seen the Jaeger light infantry. Thought I'd mention it. And we see back at base the tier 3 finally going down as the conscripts are still engaging up in the north. Combat engineers with flamethrowers pop in. They're going to get incendiary-nated, so they pop out. Flames taking hold of the house. And the Volksgrenadiers run through the flames, taking some damage themselves. I suppose they take a little bit getting used to, as Volksgrenadiers previously only had standard grenades. Infiltration grenades do go off by those Volksgrens. Only 2 of them get tossed, however. Not really hit anything, so there you go. House that does catch fire, finally, so it's going to explode due to the TNT that was usually held in houses and will be collapsing rather soon. Combat engineers popping into the forward house. Flamethrower bursts going off. Now they pop out as they are getting assaulted by quite a bit of stuff here. And the snipers still on the field. Only 3 kills so far. Haven't been able to do too much, but of course we do know that the other squad was lost right there. They're actually still there. Look. House finally ends up collapsing due to the fire. And Storm Pios and Jaeger light infantry are moving around in that direction. Over on the left-hand side, we do see another Jaeger light infantry squad capturing the point, but we now have a T-70 on the field for Paul.A.D. And he is going to get right on top of that Jaeger light infantry. Jaeger light infantry will die if it doesn't retreat. T-70 can chase it down quickly and kill it off. It doesn't shoot as fast as a Lux, for example, but it's still very accurate and very damaging. Does force it away. Not going to chase it down. Knows that it's not, injured enough to be able to warrant that. And we see cruzz massively pushing everything over to the left-hand side, which would have spelled disaster to the T-70 had he decided to pursue. So T-70 pushes forward, gonna get itself right in range of that Rocket and Warfer. Rocket and Warfer will be taking 1 shot at it, nails it in the front, down to about half health, but it does not manage to make it out of there. Does not manage to get a 2nd shot on it before the T-70 makes it out of there. Combat engineers on the left-hand side gonna get themselves killed, down to 1 man. Volleys continue to go off on that 1 man. May be able to make it out of there, but there's Jaeger light infantry in the way. The Volksgrenadiers still pursuing. That's a lot of damage going through. Yeah, that guy's not gonna make it. Shots continue to fly. Conscripts trying to get in the way. Can they get in the way before it? Oh, looks like they can. Combat engineer barely makes it out of there. Riddled with holes. He looks like the Swiss guy because he's cheese. And combat engineers back at base going to get some repairs going as that guy barely makes it back to base. Paul.A.D. moving his sniper over to the left-hand side. Conscripts taking some cover behind the broken glider. Jaeger light infantry moving themselves to engage. Sniper taking some shots, and down goes more of the Jaeger light infantry. Conscripts moving forward, gonna get right on top of that Jaeger light infantry squad. Sniper shots should fly and allow them to potentially kill the squad. Oh, manages to hit retreat right before the shot flies, and the Jaeger light infantry make it out of there themselves. Behind it, we do have combat engineer squad, now veteran C3 with that flamethrower equipped. We do have the infantry support gun once again back on the field. The infantry support gun should be able to do a lot of work. Getting a good hit on that conscript squad on the back, getting it pinned down. Forward conscript squad will get killed off here by the Jaegers. There it goes. And Paul losing some more infantry. AT gun getting produced for Paul as he is expecting some type of vehicle play. Shot flies from the Rocket Warfare, nailing the T-70 once again. Unable to finish the job, but once again forcing it to back the hell off. Ostwind getting called in for cruzz. We've seen these multiple times. They are pretty good, especially with a T-70 on the field. The T-70 can actually die very quickly to an Ostwind, so it's an excellent choice here. And we do not see PauL.A.D going for anything additional. Can get those Su-76s if he wanted to. We've seen them with PSG Red X-Wings working rather well against the Ostwinds, but I'm assuming he's probably just going to tech higher and get something else. He has the AT gun already on the field, so doesn't necessarily need to get that issue. So conscripts on the right-hand side retreating after capturing the entire right-hand side. Ostwind forcing them away. Conscripts pushing forward, catching that Rocket Warfare out in the open and forcing it back. We do have the infantry support gun sitting there. Jaeger light infantry and Volksgrenadiers pushing up behind it, and the Ostwind coming up to support. T-70 moving up aggressively against the Ostwind. Not really going to work. We do have a demo charge here on the victory point for PauL.A.D. Conscripts backing off, Uraying away, trying to get off range from the Ostwind and potentially bait it into something. T-70 taking some shots at a distance, but not really doing too much. We do see an AT grenade going off by the conscripts, nailing the Ostwind, getting it damaged. We do have, of course, the AT gun behind that to follow up, but it's pretty far away, and I doubt the Ostwind... Well, it's actually sitting there, so... I was going to say I doubt the Ostwind is just going to sit there, but he is kind of doing that. Volksgrens and Jaeger light infantry pushing forward. T-70 getting some good shots at range, managing to do some damage and forcing retreats. Ostwind deciding I'm just going to back off since I do not have any infantry support in front of me anymore. Does still have the Volksgren though, but you know, the major of it has been removed. Volksgrenadiers, Jaegers, more Volks moving over to the right-hand side for cruzz. He's going to try to recover some territory as Paul is comfortably controlling most of the map and doesn't actually have to send anything to the right-hand side to defend it because right now everything is focused on the left. Infantry support gun taking some shots, getting some good hits on the combat engineers, but they are in heavy cover, so they're able to stave off suppression. Ostwind back fully repaired, moving forward. Right-hand side, we see combat engineers and conscripts engaging the Volksgrenadiers. At close range, the Volksgrenadiers will lose, although these combat engineers quickly retreat as the Ostwind come right on top of them, and the conscripts also retreat because they had no additional support. Conscripts moving back over to the right-hand side. I mean, I guess they could actually do with an Su-76, really, because that AT gun is very slow to move, and it's not going to be anywhere near the position where it needs to be, you know, quickly. And everything retreats from the left-hand side for Paul, as he just leaves a conscript squad to try and fight off the capping infantry. T-70 going to be duking it out against the Ostwind, noticing that he doesn't really have the caliber to do that. Takes a shot to the face, a little bit of damage, and backs off. AT gun now moving up for Paul, as once again cruzz just shifts angle and is going to move the Ostwind to the left-hand side. Conscripts trying, I suppose, kind of to bait the Volksgrenadiers, although the Volksgrenadiers have taken quite a bit of damage. The Ostwind, or them realizing there's an Ostwind coming, forces them to retreat. Volksgrenadiers kind of along the way. I see. He laid down a flare, revealed the territory, and saw the Ostwind coming down on top of him, so he instantly retreated. Nice battlefield awareness there for PauL.A.D. Right-hand side, we hear a grenade as an incendiary grenade flies from the Volksgrenadiers. Conscripts managing to dodge that and are going to capture that fuel point. Far right-hand side, Jaeger light infantry capturing the munitions, as we have conscripts continuing to go over to the right-hand side. Combat engineers also pushing forward, going for the victory point, as we see these Volksgrenadiers sitting, well, they're not on top of it, they're a little bit to the side, but even then, blast radius should be enough. But PauL.A.D was not aware of it and their location, so he wasn't able to hit the trigger and blow up the Volksgren squad. Conscripts and combat engineers going to push to the left as the AT gun is covering that area. I'm assuming, though, what Paul is going to do instead of teching is just simply going to wait for the IS-2. I mean, he has more than enough fuel for it now. Needs only 2 command points more, so yeah, I mean, one can assume that that is his plan. But cruzz, expecting some type of, you know, vehicle play in a heavier vehicle, goes ahead and builds himself a Jagdpanzer, which should help out quite significantly. Conscripts and combat engineers retreating over on the right-hand side, maybe getting cleared off here by the Ostwind. The lead conscript very low in health. Shots continue to fly. Oh, manages to turn the corner and stay alive. The Oswin is going to go aggressively. The AT gun set up to try and stop it. Oswin now focusing on the AT gun, hits the combat engineer, detonates the fuel tank up behind him, but the combat engineer stayed alive for an extra second until he got shot by the Ostwind and ended up dying. So Conscript Squad did manage to barely make it out of there, so that's nice for Paul, but he did lose a Veteran C3 combat engineer squad with a flamethrower, so that's not too good for him. Sturmovik attack getting called in over on the right-hand side, getting a good hit there on that Ostwind, also inflicting damage on the Storm Piles, but with the Jagdpanzer online, Ostwind does a little bit of extra damage, and a single shot from the Jagdpanzer makes sure that that is cleared, although the Ostwind was the one that got... No? Actually... the Ostwind doesn't say that he got the kill. I mean, do we have a Rakuten Warfare nearby? Or was it these guys? Huh. I don't even know who killed it. Well, doesn't matter, it's dead, so... regardless, the Jagdpanzer and the Ostwind got, you know, combo shots on it and ended up killing it, so... bleh. Left-hand side, combat engineers going for the cap of the fuel as Vulture and Deers are on top of them. We do still have that sweeper there. I mean, not that sweeper, that demo charge there. Su-76 does end up getting billed for PauL.A.D as he needs to have something on the field. It was, you know, cheap enough that he still had enough for the IS-2, so the IS-2 is now on the field with an Su-76 for support. Remember, Su-76 has that barrage ability, which actually helps out quite a bit. Against infantry is what I'm trying to say. Conscripts on the right-hand side engaging Volksgrens as they try to go for the victory point. Right behind them, we have another Volksgren squad with a Shrek trying to capture that strategic point. And we see the AT gun moving itself all the way far forward, very far forward and unsupported. Gonna get itself killed by the Jaeger Light Infantry and the Volksgrens. Of course, we do have the IS-2. IS-2 getting shot on the side by the Jagdpanzer. Second, we're getting moved up as well. We do have the Su-76 there for support. But the IS-2 has taken quite a beating here to the Jagdpanzer. Jagdpanzer very capable of penetrating that armor. Su-76 taking some shots at the side of the Jagdpanzer, managing to not penetrate anything. Shot flies from the Rakuten Warfare, but misses, which is fortuitous for PauL.A.D as the Jagdpanzer had actually, you know, hit it. So it was already damaged and in real risk and threat of dying. IS-2 crashing and destroying the remaining wings here of that glider. Jaeger Light Infantry manages to decap the point, almost getting itself killed to the IS-2, but the IS-2 is forced away all the way back to the back of the base as it has taken some damage. Su-76 moves up as it wants to maybe get in the way here, but it's just going to sit in front of the Rakuten Warfare and get itself killed. Double shots fly, down goes the Su-76 as PauL.A.D is not in great shape here. Cruzz looking very aggressive, very good, and inflicting a lot of damage. The IS-2 has taken quite the amount of hits. Jagdpanzer does end up taking some hits to the AT gun, so at the very least it has suffered some damage, forcing it to back off. And that gives PauL.A.D a little bit of breathing room to come back into the game. And again, he's lost quite a bit. Ostwind on the right-hand side, unopposed. Going to be forcing those conscripts and all the infantry to retreat. Going to chase it down a little bit and do a little bit of damage, but with the IS-2 nearby and on the base, I mean, it doesn't really want to go too far deep. Just to go, you know, just the tip there, just a little bit. AT gun moving back, Jaeger Light Infantry harassing it. Conscripts going for the victory point on the left-hand side. PauL.A.D still holding 469 points, though, while Cruzz has been brought down to 85 points. So while he is looking relatively strong when it comes to army, I mean, it's a 52 top cap versus 78, so, you know, just with numbers, it's completely in the favor of Cruzz when it comes to army value. However, I mean, he is very low in those victory points, so that could actually cost him the game. However, he is currently on the right side of a triple cap against PauL.A.D, so he could very easily and quickly bring those 450 points down. AT gun getting cleared out for PauL.A.D. The Storm Piles are going to try and go for the cap. They're actually going to go for the steal. Oh, Storm Piles getting punished for doing that in front of the IS-2. End up having to retreat, but may be able to get cleared off here by the combat engineers. Jagdpanzer and Vulture Engineers, however, move up, finishing off that IS-2, and even the plane crashing on top of most of the infantry here for PauL.A.D. AT gun does finally get recovered, though, for PauL.A.D. Sorry. Wow. as we see Cruzz calling in a second Ostwind, which is an excellent choice. Tank gone, no longer any anti-tank threats. The Ostwinds will be able to rip through the infantry and make sure that they are unable to capture pretty much anything. And with the Yak Panzer still alive, I mean, anything that Paul.A.D can field is just going to get eaten alive. So, while it is still early to call that, I would say, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that Cruzz is just gonna take game number 1. I mean, it's understandable, like I said. You know, there's two sides of the coin. It's understandable when a player doesn't want to give up, especially in a tournament game, because maybe he can just pull through and come back. But it's also understandable when players, you know, in a situation like this, decide to just simply call the game, you know, before it comes to a close, and you know, try to focus on the next game. You know, you're still in it. Okay, you lose one game, but that doesn't mean you're out. You can come back and potentially win the series. You know, we've seen it already. Cruzz himself did it. He lost the first game and went ahead to win the next 2 games and bring himself back into the tournament. So, the Ostwind pushing forward does get anti-tank naded and suffers damage on the engine. AT gun got cleared out a little bit, but manages to get recovered and runs itself back into the base. Paul.A.D deciding to build another AT gun. He was building a tank. I believe he was building a Lux, but I don't think he finished it. I didn't get a chance to see it as I was talking and seeing the Ostwind rip everything. But I'm pretty sure he didn't. I think he decided to cancel that instead and build an AT gun, because he also has 118 fuel. So yeah, I mean, he would have spent that. Well, not that, but you know, some of it. He'd have less. So second AT gun on the field. All the infantry back at the base with Paul.A.D trying to get healed up and reinforced. Not really having too much luck. Second Ostwind moving in to harass. Going to be trying to run over some infantry. Gets AT grenaded. Second AT grenade does go off. Gets damage on the engine. AT gun in position to potentially take it off. And ooh, this might actually be a big mistake here for Cruzz. I mean, he's most likely going to be losing this Ostwind in the base. I mean, there's a lot of infantry to go through, and it's not going to be able to clear them off quickly enough. But, I mean, he loses that. That could potentially allow Paul.A.D to come back into the game. He is doing a lot of manpower damage, though, here. So, you know, it's not necessarily a waste. We see Paul.A.D has 20 left. But the Ostwind does go down, and we see the plane crashing here, setting everything ablaze. As, of course, we also had the other Ostwind able to shoot at it. Yeah, Tiger is still there. Infantry support gun did get cleared out. Looks like it may have gotten cleared out by the Sturmovik, but it is still there and available to be taken by Cruzz. So, not like he lost it. Paul.A.D is going to make, again, another push over to the right-hand side. Victory points still bleeding 3 at a time, down to 310 points for Paul.A.D. Still has some time to recover and, you know, get himself back into the game, but again, it's looking very, very difficult. So Ostwind, once again, now fully repaired, harassing the conscripts. AT gun getting a good shot off on it, manages to damage it, so a single AT grenade off on the Ostwind will cripple it. Well, I mean, not cripple it, you know, snare it, really is a more accurate response. Yak Panzer moving up, laying siege onto the base for Paul.A.D. Combat engineers are going to be trying to repair that tier 1, as Paul.A.D doesn't want to lose it, although, I mean, he doesn't necessarily need to keep it, but it does work a little bit as a forward reinforcing location, so, you know, I guess you can understand why you want to keep it, and of course, if all 3 buildings, you know, go down, he loses, but, I mean, it's going to be unable to keep up with the attrition of those shots, and down goes tier 1. Paul.A.D unable to save it, even with the repairs of the combat engineers. AT gun getting flanked here by the Ostwind. The Ostwind going to drive circles around it and clear it off. Shots continue to fly. Good shots hitting on the rear, down to 3 men. Even the Storm Pyos there to provide some support. The Ostwind now moving back. There goes the AT gun. The AT gun gets cleared off. Conscripts are nearby. Infantry support gun laying into them, getting them pinned down. Combat engineers going to go for the AT gun. Going to get themselves cleared out once again. Storm Pyos still sitting there, although they are taking damage from the base sector MG, so they are unable to continue to pursue. The AT gun does remember to take shots at the Ostwind, and the Ostwind gets brought down to very low amounts of health. Almost gets killed off. Yak Panzer taking some shots into the base. We see tier 2 getting attacked here. So it looks like Paul.A.D is going to decide to build a T-70 of all things. Why? I don't exactly know. I don't think a T-70 can do anything at this stage. Oswin does get cleared out as it gets caught there by the hedge and the house. AT gun manages to move up and destroy it. But we do have another Oswin on the field for Cruz, as he does have, of course, most of the map and a lot of income. 22 fuel versus the 4 for Paul.A.D. So it's, you know, a significant chunk that he can get. So he can actually continue to field these flak panzers, the Oswins, relatively easily. I mean, they only require 100 fuel, so, you know, it doesn't take too long to earn that when you're earning 24. And if he caps this fuel point over here, he's actually going to get even more. So there you go. So again, like I said, pretty sure this game was won by Cruz already. But Paul.A.D refuses to give up, refuses to surrender, going to continue to push, sending out his infantry by themselves, trying to go for the victory points. But again, with the Oswin nearby and the infantry support gun and everything, he's just really unable to gain any ground. The AT guns, of course, are the threat, so those are able to keep those Oswins kind of at bay. The Jagdpanzer, I mean, sure, it can get shot by the AT guns, but this guy isn't really a threat right now. There's nothing for it to shoot or kill. It, you know, it can, but, you know. Volksgrenadiers and Storm Piles, those just going to be putting up a front here against everything. Shrek's flying. The T-70 makes itself known. Jagdpanzer will probably be moving up. Oswin going to get double-shotted here by the AT guns, taking a lot of punishment. Infantry support gun returning fire, getting some good hits there on the retreating conscripts. We see a 105 howitzer barrage getting called in on top of the AT guns. The AT guns moving back into the arc for AoE of the howitzer barrage, managing to move themselves out of the way. Howitzer barrage still actually managing to inflict some damage. T-70 though goes out of control. That's a Rack in the Warfare and Jagdpanzer are there, and you know, didn't really have much that it could do. And finally, Paul.A.D says a GG and calls the game because, yeah, like I said, I mean, he had lost quite a while ago, almost 10 minutes ago, a little bit less, but yeah, Cruz managing to control the game quite well. It looked, you know, either way at the beginning. It looked like Paul was a lot stronger, but yeah, Cruz just managing to keep cool and pull it back, get himself a win. So, anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the game. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.